Hello, Leo. Great to have you here. My name is Shona. Today's reading is a general love forecast. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like, and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Leo. And it's the beginning of the year, so I wanted to switch things up, but also what I'm using here is the natal spread, and it's basically, it incorporates astrology, and it examines the 12 houses of astrology that makes up the natal chart. Each house deals with a different aspect of your life. So I pretty much have drawn out a card for each house to represent each house. And it's important to do this at the beginning of the year, mainly because if there are trouble spots in a specific sector of your life, we want to address it early on so that it doesn't aggravate and it doesn't get worse areas in our lives that are not, or that might be a little bit problematic and things like that. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the spread and I'll explain how it works. Okay. The first card out here represents your first house, and the first house is pretty much, the energy that you bring on into the month with you, the way that other people perceive you, and the way that your personality shines through. First of all, we have the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords is shown up in the reverse position. It is a situation where we are no longer stuck in limbo, waiting on the decision of another person. We no longer feel as if we don't have all the information at our disposal. A lot of clarity have come into the picture, and I feel that you are accessing information, whereas before you might have felt like very stuck, uncertain, blindfolded, and bound up. Now you are freeing yourself from a position of bondage, okay? So this is overcoming a lot of adversity, overcoming indecisiveness and things like that in order to charge intuition and things like that. I feel like a lot of people were waiting on test results. A lot of people were waiting on callback or feedbacks or even performance review and things like that. All the information is flooding you this month, and I do sense it's going to allow you at least to have, to move on to this year and especially this month with a lot more certainty. This is indicative of the energy of somebody who is actually very proactive. They assess situation carefully, but once they make up their mind, house deals with your money, your financial situation, as well as your values. So with the world in the reverse position, what I do feel is a little bit of a tight rein on your money. So there is some financial restriction, first of all. And there might be something within your external environment that is preventing you from making money or making money to the extent that you want. I feel like some of you, your ninth house is really lit up, and that deals with education. So I feel like some of you might be either be in an environment where you're going to school full-time, part-time, and so you're not able to devote all your time to work, and as a result of it, your income might be a little bit restricted. And then for others of you, there might not be opportunities wherever you are living, the opportunities in the field or in the so for example, you might be in an area that is a little bit more economically depressed. So there might not be opportunities, or even the wage might be low. So you're not going to be able to max out your, earning potential. And then there are others that might be bogged down with responsibilities. So for example, I feel studies, I feel children, household responsibilities and things like that, where you are limited as to, what shift you can work, how many hours you can work and things like that. And then others, this is a card about restriction. So physically not having the mode of transportation in order to pursue that job that pays a lot more. Okay, so there are some external restrictions that's kind of like blocking your progress when it comes to financial earnings. As it relates to your values, with the world in the reverse position, our value system is it encompasses many, many, many things that we believe in. For example, with the world in the reverse, this is a kind of like an aversion for people who are close-minded. So I do feel that a lot of you are coming into a environment where I feel like you are defending other people, and you are trying to expand your horizon, trying to expand your philosophical outlook as well. So I feel that, in terms of like encountering people who might be a little bit more, I want to say closed-minded or narrow-minded or very, very judgmental, and they might not have valid reasons for why they behave the way that they do. I feel that you might be confronting these people, or you might be put in a position where you set the record straight for them. Okay? So that's just something to keep in mind about. It's also indicative of, trying to expand your philosophical outlook as well. So for those of you who are either trying to do this yourself, or you're going to encounter people who will challenge, who will challenge, like, who are afraid of change, afraid of, expansion. And so they're going to challenge this aspect of you. The third house deals with communication and siblings. I feel like a lot of you might be in an environment where you have a lot of siblings, like growing up, in a household where there might be a lot of people around. And I do feel like a crowded home is what it seems like to me. And the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse is a situation where there might have been a clutter home environment, like, growing up with a lot of siblings, your space is very cluttered, you don't have a lot of privacy. And what I'm also feeling is growing up in an environment where siblings share a common history, and there might be a little bit of financial lack overall in the household environment that you grew up in. Okay, so parents might have worked, but might have landed on hard times, and things were a little bit chaotic as it relates to, siblings, like relationships with siblings. There might also have been some type of I want to say like estate planning, dividing up assets like inheritances and things like that between siblings. And it's coming up for this month, mainly because I feel that things might not be resolved in a clean, swift manner that you'd hope for, okay? As it relates to your communication. And I feel like one of the major challenge here for this month is to be very, very clear and directed when it comes to the way that you communicate. On the one hand, I feel like you have a lot of knowledge. You have, gone through life accumulating a lot of practical knowledge. So the Suit of Pentacles indicates practicality, right? Practical knowledge, knowing how to be resourceful, knowing how to take care of ourselves, and things like that. And so I feel that you might come into this month talking about things in a more practical way. And what I mean by that is you're basing it off your own personal experience of what you have experienced and things like that. It might not pass the, I guess, the empirical test. So if somebody is saying like, oh, this is the way it is, based on all of these studies that have been done, and they're speaking more from, like a empirical standpoint, from more of a scientific, observation type of a standpoint, and you're offering something a little bit more concrete, something a little bit more practical, and something based on your own personal experience, I feel like the ideologies might be clashing. So this is just something to be careful about, okay? It's also like forcing you to, understand things from other people's point of view, but also like, maybe there is some legitimacy if, these studies have been replicated over and over again with different demographics, for example, then maybe there's some validity to the study. So don't make assumptions based on your own personal experience, whatever that might be. Because once again, we are dealing with a situation where I feel that we have to change our outlook in order to look at a situation holistically, not just from one person's point of view or one person's personal experience, okay? So in terms of your fourth house, we have here the Page of Pentacles. So the fourth house deals with your the family environment. So that can be the family that you grew up in, the childhood home, or the family that you are creating for yourself. And what I'm also feeling is, the fourth house also rules the mother, the maternal figure, okay? Excuse me. So with the Page of Pentacles, this is a card about somebody that, they work tirelessly, but for some reason, the money that comes through, it seems almost as if it's not enough, okay? So I feel for a lot of you, you might be currently living with a person like this. This is a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, a sun, moon, or rising. I'm getting a military vibe. You might be in the military, somebody in your that you're involved with in the family unit right now, who you're living with, might have been involved in the military. So I'm getting like a very strong military vibe. Very somebody who's quite structured, who's very organized, who's very neat, and there's like they're saying there's a space for everything. So I feel that a lot of tiny, like little expenditures here and there are devoted to the family, like buying things to decorate the house, and even like fixer upper type of projects that is going to be diverting your income, like your income, your money that you're getting from paid employment is going to be diverted towards buying things for the house, necessary items, practical items for the house, as well as, maintenance, upkeep, repairs, and things like that coming through from the house environment. As it relates to the mother figure, this is somebody that is not, like we're talking about mother figures, so it's always going to be a female. And as it relates to your mother figure, your own mother, this is somebody who is actually very creative. I feel that she might have had like some creative projects that she was doing on the side to make money. She might have been someone who is more like very, very practical, possibly like I feel she didn't make a lot of money, and so the home environment that you grew up in, she was very, very careful about where money is spent and how resources are spent. And I feel that, if you are dealing with a mother like this, the way that she approached finances might also affect the way that you approach finances. So even though money is coming through, you are very cautious. You might be like quite, strict with spending. So everything is very regimented and things like that. So I feel that, there is some carryover when it comes to spending habits from the mom to, the Leo person that is watching this. And it's not bad or good, but it's basically telling you that, money is coming through in abundance. But I feel that you are heavily affected based on how, you grew up in the environment that you grew up in. It seemed almost as if there's constantly money and money is plentiful, but somebody is very, very cautious about, not spending it on frivolous things. So a lot of the time season, you might feel like you might have been shortchanged because you thought that the money wasn't there, but in fact it is. It's just the mother figure is very, very careful about not wasting money. And overall, it's not just a matter of money. It's also about like not wasting food, not wasting things, utilizing everything that we have rather than buying more. So I do feel there is this sense of like, on the one hand, you feel almost as if, oh, we grew up poor. But on the other hand, there was money going around, but it was just diverted towards, things of true value rather than frivolous things. So it's neither negative or positive, but I feel that it does influence the way that you spend money. On the other hand, a lot of you just literally might have a mother that is an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, very nurturing, very caring, very, very, very reliable. And I feel that this is somebody that's good with arts and crafts, or might have some type of a arts and crafts situation where they're making money from it. Okay. Let me see if there is anything else. Okay, so in terms of the home that you're creating for yourself, or the home that you're currently living in right now, the family unit that you're currently living in. With this card, it basically means fair contribution. So everybody's chipping in their fair share in order to fix things, in order to, buy nice things, decorate the house, and making a house a home. Because I feel like earth signs are very home oriented as well. So the next house deals with your fifth house, which is fun, recreation, and creativity. We do have here the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords, fives usually indicate conflict, okay? And in terms of the people that you are, going out having fun with, because, when in the mundane sense, the creativity, recreation, and in personal enjoyment comes from going out with friends and things like that. I feel like there might have been a recent conflict as it relates to this house. If you are socially dating, it also pops up in this house, in the fifth house, which indicates, trouble communicating with, or like having a little bit of conflict, strife with a person you are seeing or a person that you are dating. And this usually indicates where it's kind of like arguments escalating, and then people have no choice but to walk away. And this card alone, it indicates like an empty victory. It's sort of like going out, having a really, really good time, drinking a lot, and then the next day you're just like obliterated. You know, like you're hungover and you're in bed and you just feel like, oh, I shouldn't have done that the night before. So it's like a regret, sorrow as well associated with this card. And in terms of your creativity and recreation and things like that, if you have the gift passed through from, you know, mother's side of the family for cooking, for, I want to say arts and craft, if you are thinking about making it into like a self-employment type of an endeavor, they're saying the competition is quite fierce. So you're going to have to strategize about how you are going to be able to find a niche so that you can stand out from the crowd, okay? So that you don't end up with an empty victory. Does that make sense? So they're saying that, you know, if you are thinking about making money in some capacity from a creative project or from some type of an innate talent that you have, and especially if it's an innate talent that your mother has also had, I feel that you want to like make it stand out some way, okay? So that you can make some money from it as well. In terms of your sixth house, this deals with health, work, and also your daily routine. I know it's not the most exciting, but daily routine, we do have here the Page of Cups. And this is a card about, you know, like it's usually like children. I do feel that there's a lot of little logistical stuff having to, you know, having to expend a lot of time, a majority of your time, to take care of the little ones. And I feel like, you know, crowded environment. And I also feel children, a lot of children in this spread, like the energy of the child. So you might be in an environment where there are many, many children, and you're going to have to take care of them on a daily basis. So that means, you know, making sure they're fed, making sure they're bathed and clothed and ready for school, making lunches, and doing the logistical stuff when it comes to child rearing, parenting, and things like that. And in your work environment, you might have a person like this. This is a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Very, very sweet person who wants to help. So somebody who's constantly either passing around food around the office. You know, they come with food is what it feels like to me. You know, they're like, here, try this, have this piece of candy. So there is somebody really, really nice, very sweet, very likable in your work environment, and they're constantly asking for food or giving food. And I feel like they're on the giving end because they're very sweet. It basically indicates, you know, harmony and friendship being made in a work environment. So I feel like you are really, really enjoying your work. And I feel that, you know, no matter what your coworkers or what really makes you happy going to work. A lot of you might be in a healing profession as well, because with the cups energy, it indicates some type of spiritual renewal, so emotional spiritual renewal. So I feel like this might be indicative of being in a healing profession where you are going to have to be very delicate and very cautious about, you know, people's physical state or even their emotional health, and you're doing something to uplift and to cheer up people. So it looks very positive. When it comes to your health overall, I feel that you are a little bit, I see like counting calories for many of you. So for whatever reason, I feel counting calories, and it led me to believe that some of you are just, you know, watching what you eat. You're juicing more, you're taking more like, implementing some type of a healthy diet, more fruits and vegetable intake. And especially, you know, foods that have a lot of very, very high water content. So that led me to believe fruits, vegetables, even juicing them, okay? And so it's a more natural diet, and I feel that a lot of you are doing this for health reasons, maybe even trying to slim down, but doing it for health reasons. So it looks very, very positive. The home environment looks really good. Like your daily routine, your home environment looks like it's very stable, and it's making you very happy. Relationship sector rules the seventh house. So this is relationships and partnerships in romance, and also in in work. Okay, so you might have a work partner, you might have a business partner, or you might have a love partner, and it deals with all both of those categories. So let me talk about your romantic partner. I keep seeing a big family here. This is a card about renewal. This is a card about new beginnings. And this is a card about, I put my life on hold, waiting on another person. I'm going to, go out there and strut my stuff and do my own thing. So I feel like you're coming into this month single. And for whatever reason, I feel that, this is bringing about new chapter. So basically, a lot of you are starting to date, and a lot of you are getting contact, communication from other people. And then for those of you who are, I want to say, in marriages or stable relationships, I definitely feel like a coming together communion. A lot of family gatherings, a lot of big, like, blended families coming together, and there's going to be a lot of healing and a lot of spiritual renewal. If you have been in a situation where you're like a step parent or somebody else is a step parent, and there might have been issues, problems, jealousies, and things like that from exes and things like that, the whole blended family is coming together in order to, create a happy home. So it looks very, very positive, where there's going to be a lot of healing with the relationship partner if you are in a blended family. If you're just in a stable relationship overall, this is kind of like turning over a new leaf, turning over a new phase, and things really smoothing themselves out. Thorough communication breakthrough even, or even deciding on implementing some type of a major move together. Okay, so it looks very, very good. And I feel like, for those who are dating, for example, you might have like left some people behind. You might have just been like, okay, bye. You're not, I guess like you're just like, you're not going to be a good person to add into my life. And then on the other hand, I feel that new people will be coming in if that's the case. If you have been dating and there might have been, two people that you really thought would make the cut, but for whatever reason, there might have been disputes. There might have been lack of responsibility on their end. I feel that you're letting them go and you're starting over. You're starting to go back to the dating scene, or you're going to be able to meet somebody else that is a little bit more like-minded. So this is a very positive card, okay? It's basically a do-over. So a lot of you might be in a situation where you have gotten out of divorces as well, and you're starting over. Very good card. It's a major arcana, so I feel that a lot of you are coming into this month like newly single and ready to date. So the 8th house deals with joint finances, and it deals with the 8th house is the psychic house. And what I'm also feeling as well is, well, in astrology, the 8th house deals with sex, death, rebirth, regeneration. It's a complicated concept. And for the sake of this reading, I'm only going to read it as joint finances. We do have a lot of major, like I almost feel like financial gains coming through from a male partner. Okay, so if you're a man who is dating other males, they're saying like financial blessings, financial abundance, and things like that coming through from a male partner. And then others of you, some type of financial gains coming through from a father. So what this means is, if you, for example, if you are married to a man, right? And if you're married to a man, there might have been some inheritance left over from either your dad or from his dad. And as a result, your joint finances are looking up a lot better. So some financial windfall, financial blessing coming through from a male marriage partner. Financial blessings coming through from a father figure as well. So what I'm feeling with this card is it's overall very, very abundant times. A lot of carefree energy, which basically means, your financial situation is going to be uplifted. There's going to be some news communication coming through that will really make you feel good regarding joint finances. As it relates to, going back to this very, very quickly, business partnerships, okay? Joint assets, also deals with business partnership. And I forgot to mention, with business partnership, this is a card about decisions and contracts being signed. So you might have been waiting to be made partner at a law firm, at a medical practice, dental practice, or whatever. There will be a contract coming through, some type of a coming together, people signing things. And, you're going to be told like how many hours you're working. You're going to be talking about the terms of the condition of this contract. So I do feel that coming through. And as a result of it, there's going to be a lot of financial gain and also a lot of gains in public image. That's going to be coming through for you. Okay, so joint finances looks very, very good and very, it looks like a major blessing coming through as a result of linking up with another partner, like another person, either romantically, through marriage, or even through work partnership. So this is a very, very good card. So the ninth house deals with higher education. It deals with foreigners, and it also deals with like foreign travels and things like that. What I'm also feeling here is I feel like a lot of you might be students. So I feel like, law, I feel medicine, like either hoping to go into law school, or in law school, hoping to go into medical school, or are medical school students, like students in med school. So first of all, we have here the the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords, this is an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And I feel that a lot of you might be discussing some type of a long-term travel with this person. This person might be bringing ideas to you regarding, hey, do you want to travel here? Do you want to do this? And so you're working out, planning, strategizing some type of a travel itinerary, drafting it up at least with this person. They might also be pushing you to travel with them. And we're talking long-term, long distance travel. This is a card about, like I said, it's foreigners. So learning new languages as well. So that's coming through for some of you. What I'm also feeling is, like I mentioned, I feel like a lot of you might be in school somehow, vocational school too, but I feel that you are trying to improve your knowledge. You're trying to enhance your critical thinking abilities. Okay, so I see a lot of law students. What I'm also feeling is this is a card that is highly supported if you are thinking about going back to school. Your mind is very, very sharp. It's going to be able to absorb information like a sponge. So if you are in, like if you're a student right now and you have just taken tests, you're going to ace them. This is a card about somebody who has a lot of, who's very intelligent. So, acing exams is what I'm seeing. Doing really well in a school setting, being able to absorb information like a sponge, okay? And then as it pertains to travel, I feel like this air sign person, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, is coming to you and telling you about travel opportunities that they might want you to take with them. They might encourage you to do that. The other thing that this ninth house rules is also philosophies and religion. So this is a warning, and I feel that, it's very, very important for us. The main theme here is that I feel almost as if you or somebody around you that you're dealing with, somebody is a little bit narrow-minded, and I feel that they have to somehow expand, like they have to somehow like see outside of their own perspective in order to look at the whole picture. So with the ninth house loaded like this, it's basically telling you, to expand outside of whatever it is that you're used to. I guess you want to say like incorporate more different ideologies, incorporate different philosophies, learn about different cultures. So this is a card that is highly supported for that learning, expanding, and communicating with people who are very, very different from us so that we can enhance and enrich our knowledge. So this is purely done on an intellectual level, but I feel like through mutual understanding it is going to foster a lot of mutual appreciation. So this is something coming through heavily that needs to be dealt with through partnerships, through learning to work with other people and, learning from them and exchanging knowledge and ideas. You're going to have a lot of success, okay? So the 10th house deals with your career, and it also deals with the father. And first of all, let me see how this is going to play out. What I'm seeing here, first of all, is I feel that your father was somebody that might have been self-employed, or somebody that, at one point in his life made a lot of money. So I feel like, somebody that might have been self-employed, and then they might have sold a business and then started working like a regular 9 to 5, or they might have worked a regular 9 to 5, saved up a lot of money, might have invested into like a self-employment gig, and I feel like it might have gone awry. And then I feel that the mother had to step in to supplement the income, okay? And I also feel that you are aspiring to be kind of like self-employed. So I feel a lot of students, and I feel like a lot of law students, a lot of medical students who might one day want to open up their own practice, but they're just like very afraid because of some possibly like because of some issue that might have happened with the father, like if he started a business and it just went awry. There's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety when it comes to, am I going to be able to shoulder the responsibility of running my own business and things like that. Don't worry about that. You are not walking in his shadow. You're going to make it your own, and you're going to be successful, okay? And likewise, if you have a father that is self-employed and he has been very, very successful, I feel almost as if you want to emulate his footsteps. And just so you know, we are all here living our own lives, so it's really important to step out of anybody's shadow and also to make a situation your own. And what I feel as well is, some of you, there might be pressure from the father to either continue a family business, to follow in the father's footsteps and things like that. And I feel there is pressure on you because you want to break out of that niche. You want to do something else altogether. So I feel like there's a little bit of pressure from the father as it pertains to some type of family business, some type of a self-employment gig. And as a result of that, I feel that you just want to break out. You want to chart your own territory, okay? As it relates to your career overall, this is a self-employment card. This is somebody that, has assets growing, and they might not even need to lift a finger. When it's in the reverse position as well in terms of your career, I feel that a lot of you are going to have to rethink your career. There might be money that is coming through, but it's not enough. So you are thinking, finding a way to supplement your income. So overall, it's practical planning. So this is good, okay? I feel like partnerships, like partnering up with other people, if you're thinking about or merging with another person, is going to be actually very good for you for this month, because your joint finances house is lit up as well as, dealing with foreigners. So maybe that might be a helpful message for somebody out there who might not be making enough from a main gig, like a self-employed gig, and you might want to link up with either another partner to mitigate the risk. But I feel like there's success coming through from partners. So your 11th house deals with friendships and group associations. We have here the Knight of Wands in the reverse position. When it comes to friendships, your friends and your social circle overall, first of all, we have here another fire sign. So this is a Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. But I feel like this might not be a physical person. It might be just like an energy of a person. This is somebody who is a little bit flaky. They say they're going to be there and they're not. And I feel like in your home environment, you have dealt with people who are very, very steadfast, very reliable. Like siblings might have been reliable, Like your parents have always been reliable. Everyone took their responsibilities very seriously. And so when you make friends, you are especially particular. And it aggravates you when people are flaky, when people don't plan things ahead of time, or when people bail out on their responsibilities, not upholding their end of the bargain. And I feel that you might encounter that energy for this month, and then there's going to be some disputes and things like that going out, not like somebody's coming in very, very late. So then you end up like having to wait, and then you get very upset. And I feel like, it can go both ways. But what I'm sensing is, there's going to be some type of conflict, some type of situation that needs to be resolved with friends. And if it's not, so if you're dealing with some flaky friends, you value their friendships, but you just don't like that, I feel that it's really important to have a discussion. Don't give them the silent treatment. Don't give them the silent treatment. These people are generally very honest, and, they like feedback is actually very important to them. Don't do it in a way where you cut them down or you hurt their ego or their pride. But I feel like, telling you, hey, can we please, like, if you say you're going to do something, just make sure you're there, because I could have been doing something else. I had like so much work to do, for example, or saying it in a way where they understand what they're doing, because I feel like they're a little bit careless and they're not aware of it. Okay. So you might be dealing with friends who are like this. And, what I'm feeling as well is, I feel for some of you, I feel that you are a really, really caring person. And I feel that, for some of you who are like, even if you're just, I want to say like, I feel like you're dealing with a lot of friends that might not have a career, or like even they're not very ambitious. So that basically means, they're settling for less. They're settling for jobs that are comfortable, and they don't really want to push for more. And if you're the type that is a lot more ambitious, I feel that you're going to be reassessing your friendships. And then if you're the type that is, very easygoing, go with the flow, and you yourself are not ambitious, then I feel that, your friends and your social circle, I feel that you need to reassess that too, because I feel that the energy that is permeating your group associations and your friendships, they're not like inspiring you to strive for more. Does that make sense? So that's not to say they're bad people. It's just that, you want to reassess, because I feel that expanding outside of your comfort zone a little bit, in terms of like going out, meeting new friends, making new associations, is really going to inspire you to achieve like some very, very ambitious career goals. So you're going to have to link up yourself with people and group associations that are going to inspire you and that are going to motivate you to strive for more. Okay. So the 12th house deals with, it's a psychic house as well. And for the sake of this reading, the 12th house is, it deals with institutions, and it also deals with secrets. So for the sake of this reading, I'm going to say it's something that is hidden from view, okay? Something that you're not aware of. A new beginning, a new phase, a new page in your life is starting. And I feel that you might enter 2017 feeling very, very hopeful, feeling as if you're catching that second wind, as if you feel like very refreshed, and also very I want to say like hopeful and optimistic about life. And I feel that a lot of you might be getting a new job. I see promotions, I see new jobs for a lot of Leos for this year. I do feel like, turn around for the better in some type of a self-employment gig, if you are going to link yourself up with a partner. Current energy of like, I don't know why, but I feel so happy, I feel giddy, I feel very hopeful and very refreshed. It's because a lot of changes are going to happen for you. So embody that positive energy, because I feel like you might not be able to thoughts I'm seeing here is mainly siblings, some type of financial entanglements, possibly with siblings as it pertains to inheritance. And I also feel like you might be in an environment where there are a lot of siblings, or a lot of like a big blended family with, a lot of step siblings, and things get a little bit confusing. And then the other trouble spot here is it deals with friends. Okay, so these are two areas that you want to iron out as we go through. Now, the Judgment card fell out for your 7th house, which is relationships. So I'm going to use that as a segue into the next part of the reading, which deals heavily with your romance, love, and relationships, okay? of romance relationships. Let's turn it back. I feel like some of you who are in a relationship feels a little bit crowded by in-laws, okay? So you're in a relationship and you could be dating them, you could be married to them, and you're feeling kind of crowded by your family or their family. And I feel like more your partner's family. You feel like too many people are involved in your business, and too many too many people telling you what you should, or like, imposing their expectations upon you. So either child rearing practices, or even how to be a good mother or father. And so it seems like a very crowded environment. And what I'm also feeling as well is, some of you, if you're dealing with that, you just want to tell your partner, hey, let's move out of state, let's be away from them. But I feel like you're thinking that, but you're not going to tell them that, because you don't want, you know how important family is. So I feel that coming through when I was shuffling. And let's talk about this card here. So the Judgment card, as it relates to your relationship, this is new beginnings, okay? New opportunities coming through. Whatever has left your life, it's created a void, and the universe is going to fill that void with something else, and something that is usually going to be a lot better for you. So they're telling you, leave the past behind. You're starting over, and you're starting over like hitting that reset button, starting a brand new phase, a brand new chapter, a brand new 9-year cycle for yourself. 2016 was a universal number 9 year, and a number 9 year deals with endings, okay? So no matter what, you are starting over. And this is a message that I gave to Cancer as well, because I feel like they needed to close some doors. And I feel from your end, you have closed those doors. You're waiting for the new to begin. And I feel like the new is going to begin first in your romantic sector. It's going to bring somebody very positive into your life, so that you can then, work on the other areas of your life, okay? So Leos, let me talk about the past, because I feel like you've been through some bad things. We have the Lovers in the reverse position. So the Lovers is a situation where we are very, very magnetically drawn to another person. We are very attracted to another person. And this is a card that indicates a lot of chemistry, a lot of sexual energy, a lot of passion, and a lot of lust. In the reverse position, it basically means two people who are so incompatible that it would, take a miracle for things to work out. And a lot of the times, opposites attract. And so I feel like opposites create a lot of excitement, but also a lot of friction. And this is an instance where two people are so incompatible that it just wasn't going to work out. And I feel a lot of you might have been involved here with an air sign. Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. This is not a bad person. This is somebody who's just not affectionate the way that you want to be. Because I feel like you and the other two fire signs, Aries and Sagittarius, you need a lot of, I almost want to say like ego stroking. It has to be sincere though, because you will know if someone is being insincere with their compliments. But I feel that, you need a lot of hands-on touching compliments and affection, like, public display of affection. And you were dealing with somebody who couldn't give you that, either because they're just not brought up that way, where parents show them affection. As a result, they feel a little bit awkward having to show affection. This is also indicative of somebody who's very like, I want to say logical and rational. They operate on the higher chakras, so their head, they're a thinker. and they love to have conversations, and I feel like you need a lot of affection from them, and they couldn't give it to you, and as a result of it, the two people were not compatible in relationship. Their needs were mutually not met. So this might not be a bad person, but it's just there are so many differences within the relationship, and it made it very difficult for you to stay together. The lovers in the reverse often indicate situation where there might have been, outside negative interference. So once again, I'm seeing out in-laws, like a lot of people involved, and butting into your business with this person, and as a result of that, it couldn't work out. And then, on the most extreme end, there might have been some type of third party involved, like stepping out on a relationship and things like that from your end or from their end. And as a result of it, the relationship fell apart. Okay. Which brings us to the present situation. Your foundation. This. We have here the Four of, I'm sorry, this is the Four of Swords, as well as the Nine of Pentacles. I feel like, let me see, let's talk about this first. The Four of Swords in the reverse is, this is kind of like stoppage in communication, okay? And when it's in the reverse position, it's basically resuming communication. So there might be some type of communication coming through between you and that person that we were dealing with before, as it relates to money. You might have like unresolved business between the two of you, pertaining to like finances, pertaining to joint custody, like practical responsibilities between you and this person. It's not over yet, and you're still going to have to deal with them and communicate with them in order to resolve some things. So there might have been some resentment and stoppage in communication for the past few weeks, I would say, like the past few months, the past few weeks. And then the communication is resuming once again, but it's more like financially, centered, okay? Child custody, alimony, or even like joint assets, joint finances that needs to be extracted cleanly between two people, but it's not happening, or at least discussions about this needs to happen for this month because you're starting a new phase. So you need to initiate this contact in order to sever that cord of attachment for good, because you're starting a new phase. Okay, Leos? So this is something you have to do, but I feel like you're procrastinating because I feel almost as if this person might be quite difficult to deal with for some of you. They're very intelligent. They can, I feel like they can outmaneuver you, is what I'm sensing. So you're a little bit careful about, re-engaging with them because you feel like, oh, it's such a difficult process, okay? So I feel like that's the issue here. Additionally, what I'm sensing is a lot of you have left this relationship thinking about, how do I put myself out there? How can I meet new people? So you're not, you're not going to play like the spinster anymore. You're actually going to get out there and you're going to, show love and affection and to attract new people into your life. I feel like for those of you who are doing that, be very careful, because I feel like your financial situation after that divorce, after that breakup, I feel that you're not financially sound on your own. And you might be wanting to, attract love, but when you're not financially sound as your foundation, you're not going to attract high quality people that will form healthy relationships with you. So I feel like it's a little bit problematic, like using, wanting to meet new people to distract yourself from practical responsibilities when it pertains to your financial situation. So be careful about that, okay? Take a little bit more time, stabilize your work life, stabilize your finances, stabilize your situation before you get back out there in the dating game, okay? Crowning this reading is something you are thinking about. We do have the Death card, and the Death card is once again do-over, moving on, not looking back, and hitting that reset button in your romantic life, so that you're leaving the past behind, you're moving on, and you're moving on for good. But there's still some type of financial entanglement I feel that you're still dealing with. And in the process of thinking about moving on, I feel that you feel very free, you feel very lighthearted, you feel very optimistic, and you're just like, you're moving forward. some of you are carrying a torch for somebody. So that means, having somebody in your life that you feel you have a crush on. Okay, so you're thinking about somebody heavily. You're thinking about a new person. So you're literally carrying a torch for somebody. And so this brings us into the present situation here. We have here the Five of Swords, an end to conflict, an end to strife. And I feel that, if you're waiting on some custody issue or financial extraction from another person, it's going to come to an end. It's going to get resolved for this month, and there will be some type of new news and new information and news coming to light, okay? We have as well the Ace of Coins, and the Ace of Coins is basically new relationship that has a lot of potential to grow, but it requires mutual cooperation and nurturing from both parties. Okay, so we have here, I feel like you are carrying a torch for somebody, and you have somebody in mind that has either solicited you for dating, and I feel like you might have another fire sign, so Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo. And what is coming through as well is I feel that for some of you, this new person has the potential to grow. It has the potential to build, and it has the potential to be something of value. And so it's really up to you to, nurture it. But I feel that your financial foundation is a little bit rocky right now, so you might not be ready to date just yet, okay? Take it very, very slowly, because the Knight of Wands is somebody who rushes in very, very quickly, and they rush in fast and they burn out fast. So it's going to be a very short dating stint rather than a long-term relationship if you're not careful. What is coming through in your future? We do have the High Priestess in the reverse, as well as the Two of Wands. Here's what I'm sensing. Somebody, okay, so I feel like a lot of you left a significant relationship. You're coming into this month single. You have somebody coming through, another fire sign. You're very compatible with them. But I feel like they travel around a lot. They move around a lot. And I feel that, I feel like this is somebody who's a little bit impulsive. And so you might want to just, you might feel like, okay, I need a distraction. And so, or you might even say like, okay, I've been single enough. I've been through this ordeal from the past. I'm not going to play single anymore. I'm going to go out there and look for people to date. And I feel what's happening is you encounter this energy, and there might be some warning signs. This is a very exciting, attractive person, and I feel that you're easily swept off your feet because they're charming. They have a good heart. They're lighthearted. They're enthusiastic. They're very optimistic. But I feel like there are some warning signs that this is not going to be a long-term relationship. Okay? But I feel that you're going ahead with it because we have the Two of Wands, which is a partnership card. And I feel that some of you, this person might be from far away, and so you're moving ahead with them, having some type of a long distance relationship, okay? And then for others, especially for those of you who are coupled up, there has been some disputes in the past regarding income. So there might have been some financial issues affecting your relationship with your significant other. You're coming into the conclusion that, one person might need to work, or both parties need to work, and both parties need to manage their assets, like their finances, their earnings, and things like that, separately. And so that's what you're going to decide to do. So I feel like, a lot more stability, a lot more compromise for those of you who are coupled up. For those who are single, I feel a short-term relationship, okay? Rather than a long-term relationship, because I feel like your financial foundation is a little bit shaky. And so that needs to be focused on. That is one area where you need to really look at it, okay? And I feel like a lot of you are, they're saying carrying a torch for a friend. They're saying carrying a torch for a friend. If you have just gotten out of a relationship, and I feel that, you've always been eyeing your friend, and you're just like, do I go there? Do I, risk the friendship? And I feel that the feelings are being reciprocated. So I feel like you're going to form a relationship with a friend. If you have just gotten out of a long relationship, you're going to like start dating a friend of yours, okay? So that is all I have. Well, if you'd like to get a private reading with me, please visit my website. The information is in the description box below, where you can schedule an appointment, view my availability, and all that stuff. If you'd like to donate to the channel as well, I have the link in the description box below as well. All right, I'll be back for the mid-month reading. I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to do the yearly reading, but I will be back for sure with the mid-month reading. Those are a little bit shorter. It's easier to do. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.